Indeed. Right. Adam Gordon, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm very excited, and I've been working at light speed, and I'm very very optimistic about making talent acquisition teams' lives uh, more beautiful.
Yeah, and you've just like completely polluted LinkedIn with your videos on recruiter enablement, Adam. So you're gonna have to tell us what recruiter enablement is, man. I mean, can you give me the 60 second pitch as to what recruiter enablement is?
Yeah, so I spent a bit of time last year with some sales enablement professionals, and I started looking at sales enablement technology. And as I was getting familiar with it, I was thinking, why don't we have this in recruitment? And then I started thinking, I bet recruiters reinvent the wheel all the time, rewriting job adverts and social media posts and outreach messages. And I bet there's people in teams who are both doing the same tasks literally at the same time. And that's not very productive. And I bet they're giving out different messages about the EVP and about what it's like to work there and the culture and all that sort of thing. So, what are we doing around creating, in simple terms, libraries to help people collaborate much better, to help recruitment marketers to create consistent messaging, and to be able to access the things that they need to achieve their tasks more quickly, because that's what sales enablement's all about. So I did a load of focus groups. I did about 200 hours of research earlier this year, and I found that my thinking around the marketing aspects of what I've just said was absolutely correct. But I then found that there was problems within teams around where is the policy I need to achieve my task? Where's that process for what do I do in that situation? How do I get learning about a particular, how to use our CRM or whatever it might be? And then I also started getting a lot of information about I have to use this sourcing tool, which is on this Chrome extension, and this assessment thing, which I access through that portal over there. And I need to use this advertising thing over here. And there's just like, pardon my language, but there's shit all over people's desktops. And it's really, really stressful to try and remember what's the name of the tool or app I need to actually accomplish my task, let alone go and remember how to get to it. So the solving of that's recruiter enablement.
I totally get it. And I think that resonates even back in sort of how I understand recruiters organized. It's all like folders on an email inbox or something, or it's like you create desktop folders and just, every recruiter independently has their own thing in order to retrieve all of this information. So what we want to do here basically is to centralize that and have a one place where people can go and basically access all of the collateral tooling guidance that they need to do the job, basically.
Yeah, that's it.
Cool. So the product is what exactly? Poetry HR is essentially the digital solution to recruiter enablement, I assume.
Yeah. We call the product Poetry, and it is a workspace. That's how we describe it. Some people have simplified it as it's like an intranet for talent acquisition teams. Some people have called it a knowledge management hub for talent acquisition teams. Some people have called it I've heard in the last week or so that 3 people have used the word depository. And I don't actually think that's a word. I think it's repository, but
Yes.
maybe depository is. Anyway, you deposit your things in there. But it's the central sort of interface is what we call the mosaic. And the mosaic is like a homepage with tiles. Each tile represents a solution, and there's 4 main solution groups. So there's tiles for marketing, operations, learning, and tools. Most of these are inbuilt solutions. It's library functionality. It is the ability to create content assets. So the ability to use generative AI if you need to assist you to create things like job adverts and objection handling responses and crib sheets like elevator pitches. There's lots and lots of marketing solutions in there. Operations includes things like a place to store your policies and your processes and your templates for interviews and intake meetings and things like that. We've got these enablement packs in there where you can really easily centrally control what are all the assets that I would want to send out to candidates in advance of coming in for an interview, to new hiring managers to our organization, so that they know what's expected of them in the process, how to raise a rec, all that sort of thing. And then easy ability for people to add in third-party apps and tools, because we're not building assessment products or advertising products or anything like that. So there's lots and lots of technologies people will need, but bringing them into the one workspace with a tile, which the recruiter clicks on and it just opens up the login page or the the home page of whatever that app is. We understand from our research is able to save a typical recruiter 31 minutes per day from not having to recreate content assets for outreach messages or whatever, and also from what we call toggle tax, which is the tax that you pay, the burden of clicking on this and clicking on this and trying to remember where to go, and all that type of thing. So that's what it is.
I do like the toggle tax idea. I think that's a concept all of us are familiar with. If you're sitting there, I mean, I'm sitting looking at my own desktop now. It's like 20 tabs open, and that is clearly I'm not in any of those. It's just massive confusing mess. So this kind of work maybe a little bit like Workona. It's basically like a manager of information. And knowledge management, I think, is a pretty fair generic. It probably nests in that category of tools. And it basically helps people get to the work faster. So it's one of those, if you think about a recruiter, they're going to have inbox open, they'll have an ATS open, they'll have LinkedIn open, and maybe they'll have Portrait open. And those 4 tabs may get you through it. There might not need to be anything more. So yeah, I can see value, man.